Gopi Jana Balaba Girivanadhari Jaya Gopi Jana Balaba Girivanadhari Yashoyanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoyanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Balava Girivanadhari Jaya Gopi Jana Balava Girivanadhari Yashoyanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoyanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Astotartha Srimad ISKCON Founder Acharya's Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Shri Gaur Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Syama Kunda Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Shri Brajabhumi Vrindavan Dham Ki Shri Ram Mayapur Ki Ganga Mai Ki Yamuna Mai Ki Bhakti Devi Ki Tulsi Maharani Ki Gaur Premananda. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiyayat Nasta Prayeshu Avadeshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavaji Naistiki. Reading from Canto 2, Chapter 9, Text 20. Answers by citing the Lord's version. śrī-bhagavān uvāca tvayāhaṁ toṣitaḥ samyag veda-garbha sisṛkṣayā ciram bhṛtena tapasā dustoṣaḥ kūṭa-yoginām. śrī-bhagavān uvāca tvayāhaṁ toṣitaḥ samyag veda-garbha sisṛkṣayā ciram bhṛtena tapasā dustoṣaḥ kūṭa-yoginām. śrī-bhagavān uvāca tvayāhaṁ toṣitaḥ samyag veda-garbha sisṛkṣayā ciram bhṛtena tapasā dustoṣaḥ kūṭa-yoginām. śrī-bhagavān uvāca tvayāhaṁ toṣitaḥ samyag veda-garbha sisṛkṣayā ciram bhṛtena tapasā dustoṣaḥ kūṭa-yoginām. śrī-bhagavān uvāca tvayāhaṁ toṣitaḥ samyag veda-garbha sisṛkṣayā ciram bhṛtena tapasā dustoṣaḥ kūṭa-yoginām. śrī-bhagavān uvāca tvayāhaṁ toṣitaḥ samyag veda-garbha sisṛkṣayā ciram bhṛtena tapasā dustoṣaḥ kūṭa-yoginām. Anyone else? śrī-bhagavān uvāca tvayāhaṁ toṣitaḥ samyag veda-garbha sisṛkṣayā ciram bhṛtena tapasā dustoṣaḥ kūṭa-yoginām. śrī-bhagavān uvāca tvayāhaṁ toṣitaḥ samyag veda-garbha sisṛkṣayā bhṛtena tapasā dustoṣaḥ kūṭa-yoginām. Śrī-bhagavān uvāca. The all-beautiful personality of Godhead said, tvayāhaṁ, tvayā, by you, aham, I am, toṣitaḥ, pleased, samyak, complete, veda-garbha, impregnated with the Vedas, sisṛkṣayā, for creating, ciram, for a long time, bhṛtena, accumulated, tapasā, by penance, dustoṣaḥ, very hard to please, kūṭa-yoginām, for the pseudo mystics. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The beautiful personality of Godhead addressed Lord Brahmā. O Brahmā, impregnated with the Vedas, I am very much pleased with your long accumulated penance, with the desire for creation. Hardly am I pleased with the pseudo mystics. The beautiful personality of Godhead addressed Lord Brahmā. O Brahmā, impregnated with the Vedas, I am very much pleased with your long accumulated penance, with the desire for creation. Hardly am I pleased with the pseudo mystics. There are two kinds of penance, one for sense gratification and the other for self-realization. There are many pseudo-mystics who undergo severe penances for their own satisfaction, and there are others who undergo severe penances for the satisfaction of the senses of the Lord. For example, the penances undertaken to discover nuclear weapons will never satisfy the Lord because such a penance is never satisfactory. By nature's own way, everyone has to meet death. And if such a process of death is accelerated by anyone's penances, there is no satisfaction for the Lord. The Lord wants every one of His parts and parcels to attain eternal life and bliss by coming home to Godhead. And the whole material creation is meant for that objective. Brahma underwent severe penances for that purpose, namely to regulate the process of creation so that the Lord might be satisfied. Therefore, the Lord was very much pleased with him. And for this, Brahma was impregnated with Vedic knowledge. The ultimate purpose of Vedic knowledge is to know the Lord and not to misuse the knowledge for any other purposes. Those who do not utilize Vedic knowledge for that purpose, are known as kūṭa-yogīs, or pseudo-transcendentalists, who spoil their lives with ulterior motives. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnana Jnana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So here Lord Vishnu is appearing in front of Lord Brahma due to his being very pleased with Lord Brahma's performance of tapasā, but not for his own sense gratification, as it says. Prabhupada begins the purport, sense gratification being the target of demoniac persons. They perform great austerities, like Hiranyakashipu performed great austerities to such an extent that he froze. The entire universe was heated up by his mystic powers. But his goal was to become immortal and conquer Vishnu. Krishna condemns this demoniac mentality. Asatyam apratishtam te jagadahuranishwaram aparasparam sambhutam kimanyat-kam ahoitukam. They say that this world is temporary and has no foundation, and that there is no controller of the universe. Prabhupada used to say, if you see a machine working, you will always ask the question, who's the operator? Where is the operator? However, the demoniac people are performing great austerities. Like one place, Prabhupada writes that they wake up very early in the morning and they drive to work at breakneck speeds. They drive to work at breakneck speeds simply to accumulate some artha, economic advancement, for kama, sense gratification. Nartasya karma. Nartasya. Sukadeva Goswami says, na artha, that human life is not meant, your endeavors and activities are not meant for kamo labdaya hismita, simply to enjoy your material senses. After all, we are not these bodies. So even the mystic yogis, they have desires, and they want to either merge with Vishnu or attain some kind of mystic powers and so on. Of course, Rupa Goswami says that in the Nectar of Devotion, that devotees, the pure devotees of the Lord, they have already accumulated or acquired all the 8 cities. Praptima Siddhi, Lagima Siddhi, different cities like that. Lighter than the lightest, smaller than the smallest, so many cities. But they're not interested in these things. The goal of life, Prema Pumartamahan, the goal of life is how to satisfy and please the Supreme Lord without any motive at all. Ahaituki apratiyata. Only in this way can you actually become satisfied. So here, Prabhupada is describing that they perform great austerities simply to accelerate the process of death. So they're engaging in so many what is called ugra karma, shayaya jakatohi taha, in order to destroy their own civilizations. They're engaged in so many research programs, spending millions and millions of dollars to produce all kinds of demoniac, materialistic machines to destroy themselves and others. So what is the use of this? Tanaham dustoṣaḥ ciraṁ samsareshu naradamam shipamiya jashum ashubam asuresu eva yonishu. Krishna says at the time of death, those persons who are very demoniac, simply engaging in ugra karma, although they're very materially advanced, he calls them naradhamas. Naradhama means materially sophisticated. You're very advanced materially. You can manipulate the molecules, manipulate atoms. You can split atoms so many ways. They're so proud of their sophistication. But Krishna says, Shipamiya jashum ashubham. I cast them into the lower species of life, birth after birth. Prabhupada mentions that one great astrologer in Calcutta, he said that Jawaharlal Nehru took birth as a dog in Stockholm. He actually mentioned this. The great president of India, very big country with so much spiritual benefits and spiritual value. But because of the influence of Kali Yuga, these big leaders of society, they're simply wasting their time. Dharma swanustita pumsam vishvaksena katasaya notpadayad yadiratim shama eva hi kevalam. Sukadeva Goswami is saying that you engage in all these wonderful, so-called wonderful activities. You can now tunnel under the ocean. There's a tunnel going from England to France. You can go underneath the ocean and drive to France now. They're so proud of their acquirements. We're so wonderful, we're so great. Etam dristam avastabhya nastalpanopa buddhaya. Their intelligence is stolen by illusion. Mayaya paritagyana. Krishna condemns them. So they don't fulfill this human form of life. And Prahlad Maharaj says, Komaram acharat pragyo dharmam bhagavatam ihan. Durlabham, that the very difficult manusyajam janma, to get a human body. Very, very rare to get this human body. Durlabham. Very rare to get this human birth. After millions and millions and millions of lifetimes throughout the 8,400,000 species of life, you're given a human birth. You take birth in the womb of a human being. And what do? In Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, you simply become bewildered. Moga shamoga karmana, moga jnana vichestisaha, rakshashim asurim chaiva, prakritim mohinim shutaha. You're so bewildered by this material energy of the Lord. But here, Prabhupada says that the Lord is supplying this material world so that you can eventually go back home, back to Godhead. The Lord wants every one of his parts and parcels, mamai vamso jiva loke, jiva bhuta sanatana, to attain eternal life and bliss by going back to the spiritual world. Mamupecha punarjanma dukalayama shashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanam samsidim paramam gatim. In the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that my devotees, they want to transcend this fourfold miseries: birth, death, old age, and disease. Jara, marana, mokshaya. And how do they get this freedom? How to develop our love for Krishna, how to develop pure devotional service. This is the opportunity that's being given. And Lord Brahmā, he underwent great austerities, performing tapasā for thousands of years by the demigods. And then, tene Brahma hridaya adhikavaye, from within the heart, Krishna revealed the entire Vedic knowledge to him and the goal of Vedic knowledge. Vedaischa sarver aham eva vedya, Vedanta vid, Veda vid, eva cha aham. Krishna says, I compiled all the Vedic literatures. From him all the Vedas came. And he impregnated Lord Brahmā, veda-garbha, impregnated Brahma with full knowledge of everything. One who knows Krishna becomes the knower of everything. There's nothing that is lacking by love of God, by Krishna consciousness. Everything is supplied by Krishna. So Brahma is veda-garbha. He's impregnated with the complete conclusion of all the Vedic knowledge. Vedaischa sarvair aham eva vedya, Vedanta vid, Veda vid, eva chaham. That is the end of the goal of all knowledge. Sukadeva Goswami says, Vasudeva param yoga, Vasudeva para jnana, Vasudeva para kriya, Vasudeva parantapa, Vasudeva para veda. That Vasudeva Krishna, the son of Vasudeva and Devaki, he's the goal of everything. Your ritualistic activities, your austerities and penances, your cultivation of knowledge, study of the Vedas, all these things culminate in love of God. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so merciful that he is giving us this simple and easy process. Kūṭa-yad dhyayato Vishnum. In Satya Yuga, you have to perform great austerities and penances and meditate for thousands of years to attain Lord Vishnu. And even when you attain Vishnu, you weren't given what Lord Chaitanya is given. He's giving the understanding of the highest stage of love of God. He empowered Ramananda Roy. Ramananda Roy was empowered by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to explain this vipralamba, the love of Radharani for Krishna in the mood of separation. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayanya, Krishna himself, out of his great mercy and compassion, he has appeared. Of course, many times he appeared, Lord Ram, Lord Krishna himself, 5,000 years ago. But in this avatar, in this incarnation, he's revealing to all living beings here in this universe this Krishna Prema Pradayate. Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya, Rupa Goswami is giving us this verse. That he's so merciful, he's revealing this conjugal of love of God and all the highest rasas of love of God is being given to us by Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So these great yogis and mystics, what is the use? Kūṭa-yad dhyayato Vishnum, tvayāhaṁ yajana-makai. In Krita, in Sattva Yuga, they were performing great austerities, controlling their breathing, controlling their eating, all these things for thousands of years to attain Lord Krishna and understand Lord Vishnu. But in Kali Yuga, Kalarya Dari Kirtanam, simply by chanting the names of the Lord in Kali Yuga, all the potencies of the Lord are there in His holy name. And by chanting it, our hearts are becoming purified, and this love of Godhead is being endowed upon us. Is being awakened. The dormant love of God is there, Cheto Darpana Marjanam, but we're purifying our hearts by this chanting. So Lord Brahmā is here mentioned as undergoing severe penances for the pleasure of the Lord. So the Guru Parampara, they have also given us some austerities, some penances to practice. The 4 rules of Dharma: no intoxication, no gambling. In Kali Yuga, everyone is addicted. They're overwhelmed by these various addictions. So it is the age of darkness where no one is happy. But Lord Chaitanya has come with all his associates. Like he's approached by Vasudeva Datta. And Vasudeva Datta tells him, Lord Chaitanya, please let me take all the sinful reactions of all the living entities in this universe. And let me take on their sinful reactions, and I'll go down to the hellish planets and let them go back home, back to Godhead. This is the compassion of Prahlad Maharaj. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, yes, you're an incarnation of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj says, Naivodvijay paradurachya vaitaramyam He says, I'm not afraid of the Vaitarani river, which separates the various planets from the hellish planets, the Vaitarani river. Naivod vijay paraduratya Vaitaranyam tadvirya magnachita tadvirya samrita magnachita tato vimukachetasa indriyartam. Prahlad Maharaj says, my only lamentation, soche tato vimukachetasa indriyartam. My only lamentation is that everyone is being controlled by their senses, by their mind and senses. The mind is a great enemy. Your only enemy, Prabhupada told his father, your only enemy is your mind and your senses. Vimukha cetasa indriyartam. Cetasa means your consciousness is fully absorbed in sense gratification. You're ruled by the mode of passion. Lobha pravittim arambha karmana ashama śrī-kṣayā smritaḥ. Rajani etani jayante vivida bharatarshava. In the mode of passion, one is influenced by the mind's desire. Lobha pravittim arambha. Work hard and enjoy your senses. Every day you work hard, try to enjoy this material world. Tat sadhu manye suravarya dehinam sada samudvigya dhyama sadgrihat. Hidvad matpatam griham andakupam. So Prahlad is even telling his father, his demoniac father, that simply climb out of this materialistic consciousness influenced by the modes of passion and ignorance. Vanam gato yad darim ashrayeta, and go to the forest of Vrindavan, where you can take shelter of Lord Hari in this forest of Vrindavan. So this is the predicament of these personalities who are so unfortunate in Kali Yuga. But Prahlad Maharaj is saying that my lamentation is only for these conditioned souls, these living beings who are very, very proud of their situation. Dambo darpo bimanascha, look at me. Idam adyamaya labdam imam prapshe manoratam. Today I have so much wealth, and tomorrow I'm going to gain more wealth. So they have these things in the world called stock exchange. And people take their extra money and they throw it into the stock trading, and they trade their stocks. And they get some more money. They think, now I'm happy. Now I'm very happy, and I've crushed my enemies. I'll beat all my competitors at this game. And they say they think they're very happy. But then Prabhupada says in one purport, then they get kicked in the head by cerebral thrombosis, some heart disease. He said, time comes and kicks them in the head when they get cerebral thrombosis. And they're begging, give me a few more days. Just a few more days. I need a few more days. Prabhupada said one man in Calcutta was praying how he could get a few more days to arrange his daughter's, his daughter's marriage and so on, and settle up, everyone gets settled. This is the power of Maya, the power of the agent of the Lord, but he's arranged in such a way that the intelligent person starts to understand, oh, there's no way I can enjoy this material world. Bhakti Siddhanta used to say, when you go in a cave full of salt, wherever you try to taste, all you taste is salt. He says the material world is like a cave full of salt, wherever Vishyendriya samyoga yattad agre mitopamam. It might have a little nectar in the beginning, pariname visham, but in the end it's all nothing but poison. Pariname vishameva tatsukam rajasam. Pleasure in the mode of passion. Let me enjoy today, forget about tomorrow. Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow you may die. This is the going philosophy. So these rascals and fools, they perform great austerities, Prabhupada says, these scientists, performing these great austerities to, like Hiranyakasipu, try to beat the power of Maya. Make sure I won't be killed by any by any animal, any god, or any human. Make sure I won't be killed in the day or the night, inside or outside, by any living being. In this way, they're trying to carve out immortality in some way. There was a fellow called Walt Disney, and he made an arrangement that they would put some kind of some liquid in his body and preserve his body so that they'll discover in the future, science will discover immortality and they'll bring him back to life. But they have no clue, no idea how they can produce a life. They have no idea whatsoever. But they're lying to the people, they're misguiding people with their ideas. So it's very, very, very unfortunate. Prayana sabhi kalar asmin yuge janaha manda sumanda matayo. That fools are misleading other fools into the ditch. Their brains are full of stool, Prabhupada says, and they're leading other people into the dark, deep, dark ditch of darkness. One place is described that just like a leader, andaryatandar upaniyamanas, tipisha tantrium urugaya gataha, like na te viduso artagatim hi Vishnu. They don't know what the goal of life is. The goal is Lord Vishnu. Durashaye bahir artamanina. They're always thinking, looking outside for happiness, outside of themselves. They say there's no subjectivity, there's no self. They say they're just made of molecules and atoms that have bumped together. They bump together and produce various chemical ingredients like carbohydrates, proteins, nucleic acids, lipids. These are 4 building blocks for life. They don't have a clue how to produce these things, but they cheat people. They word juggle and say, oh, look, we made a protein, so what? You borrowed it from, first they borrow from some plant. No, you do it from dead matter. Don't borrow from nature. That's cheating. Oh yeah, we'll produce life in 10 years. One big origin of life scientist, Lee Cronin in England, in 2010 he said, no, I'm convinced we'll produce life in 2 years. Oh, 2012 came along. How's it going for you, Lee? Haven't been able to, not even close. In fact, the more they discover inside the cell, the further away this objective becomes, because it's so complex, so complex. In this theory of Darwin, there was an article that came out a few years ago called Darwin, a Theory in Crisis. Because with their supercomputers, they worked out what is the chances that you could have one creature evolve into another creature. Like say, let's take for example a dog. What are the chances it'll gradually evolve into a horse? So with their computers, they calculated, given, 20 billion years ago, there was a Big Bang, big explosion. Now they've falsified the Big Bang. Now they've come out with the multi-universe theory. Now there must have been multi-universes, because the Big Bang, they've discovered some things with their telescopes that contradicts the theory of the Big Bang. From chaos, we got order. Where have we seen chaos giving rise to order? So they worked out what are the probabilities. In fact, one great scientist, he actually became ostracized. His name is Fred Hoyle from Scotland. And he was a very great astrophysicist. And he had, unraveled certain mysteries within the cosmos, Yad yad vibhuti mat sadvam srimad urjitam eva va tata eva vagacha tvam mamote jamsa sambhava. Krishna said, this whole universe with all its mysteries and various creatures that he showed Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, it's just a spark of my pleasure, of my potency. Mamote jamsa sambhava. Anyway, they keep studying these cosmos, the sun, the moon. They're saying if the moon was a little bigger, there would be no life in the universe. So many speculations. Anyway, Fred Hoyle, he worked out the probabilities. There's one probability in 10 to the power 169 that you could have one creature evolve into another. Now, okay, that's a huge number. 10 to the power 10 is a billion. So we're talking one chance in trillion tries throw of the dice that you'll get perfect 12 or perfect aces. Simply gambling. So he came out with that, and then he said if you took a monkey and put him on a typewriter and randomly typed for so many years, that you would get the complete works of Shakespeare. That is the chance that evolution could have happened. But then they say, but we're here, so it must have happened, because here we are as humans. And we must have using reverse logic. So this is the bewildering power of the Lord. And Krishna says in the Gita, Name vidus suragana prabhavam na maharishaya. Even the great sages, even the great gods, even Lord Brahmā doesn't completely understand Krishna. He stole the calves and cowherd boys, put them in a cave, little puffed up, got a little puffed up. I'm the creator of the universe. Who's this cowherd boy? Who's this little boy, little blue boy, Who is he? So he stole Krishna's cowherd friends and the calves, put them in a cave for one of his moments, which is a year by solar age. But when Krishna showed Lord Brahmā, all millions of Brahmas coming down and offering their respects to him. Some of them had 1 million heads, some had 10 million heads. Then all the Lord Shivas coming from all the various universes, coming and offering their obeisances to the Lord. Then, with his 8 eyes, he became very astonished. And Rupa Goswami writes in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Lord Brahmā became astonished in ecstatic love of God. He said, what am I seeing here? All 8 eyes were like wide open. We have a very small planet universe here. Brahma only has 4 heads. Some universes are huge, huge. And Brahma may have 1 million heads or 10 million heads. All this is coming just from a spark of Krishna's splendor. He's just breathing out in his form of Karanadaksha. He's just breathing out in all these universes. And these, one time, the first time I went on a morning walk with Prabhupada was in Portland, Oregon. And Prabhupada stopped in the park there where he takes a morning walk. And he saw a frog. And Prabhupada always was prompting his disciples to speak about the scientists that created these foolish rascal scientists who are misguiding the entire world. So what does Mr. Frog have to say today? Simply living in a well. Yeah, it's like this, it's like this. It's like this. We have multi-galaxies, and with our telescope we're seeing different galaxies. It's pure speculation. When devotees brought the Minister of Education here to Mayapur, and they were all excited. Minister of Education of West Bengal is here to see Prabhupada. And Prabhupada just, yeah, so what, And said, but Prabhupada, the minister's here. Prabhupada slammed his fist and he said, this is not education. He said, our proof of reality is the Guru Parampara. Imam vishvashvate yogam proktamam mahamabhyayam. Manur ikshvakave bravit. How's it go? Vivishvan manave prahur. That the parampara system comes down from Krishna to Sun God, Krishna to Brahma. So many times Krishna has revived the parampara system. Evam parampara praptam imam rajashyo vidu sakalene hamata yoga nashta prantapa. So many times Krishna renovates, reinvigorates the disciplic succession so we can get perfect knowledge. So this is how our acceptance of knowledge. We have faith. Begins with faith. Adoshada tata, sadhu sangha tata bhajana kriya syat, tata anartha nivriti syat, tata nishta tato ruchi. Like first you have faith. So first the atheists have faith. They begin from a psychological standpoint that, yeah, there's no God. And then they create all these theories to support their faith in their religion of no God, the religion of atheism. And if you question it, they become very angry. Because when you question someone's faith, they want to destroy you. They will punish you. You can question anything, but don't question my belief, my worldview. That is their worldview, their faith, their atheistic religion. So this is what's going on in the world today. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has predicted that this movement will spread throughout the world and deliver pure love of God to millions and millions and millions of these fallen souls. Gauranga Mahaprabhu is very eager, so he came with his associates. Even Lord Brahmā came to taste the nectar of the holy name in the form of Haridas Thakur. He wanted to taste this nectar, so every day he was chanting 300,000 holy names of God every single day. It's a great, you know, tejas, vigor, great vigor to do that. Many of the Sakhis of Radharani appeared. Raghunath Das Goswami, Rupa Goswami, Rupa Manjari. So many great personalities came to assist in Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement. So, 2 minutes. Can I have some comment or question? And then go home and read some more Srimad Bhagavatam.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. What would be the, like how do we lose faith in the demoniac society that you've kindly described as being demoniac, and how do we ensure that our faith is properly being reposed in the parampara? And then also, in addition, how do we help destroy other people's faith?
Help what?
Destroy other people's faith in modernity, and then shift it in towards the parampara.
Well, people know they're suffering. Like when I'm selling books in the West, which, you know, I lived in Canada and the US, I said, these books are about how to become happy. These books are about enlightenment. And I'm speaking to, you know, mainstream Americans or Canadians. And I always say, we're living in a wealthy country, but are you happy? They always say no. So people realize they're not happy. And they realize, I'm living in this place that everyone wants to come and live here, but there's so many problems. Right, Prabhu? You lived in America. So the social fabric is horrible. There's people going around killing their own schoolmates in schools. There's people going around killing just you know, bloodthirsty people. So many problems, so much crime. The chief of police in Chicago, he approached Prabhupada. How can we solve the problem of crime? There's so much crime in these big cities in the West. So people know there's something wrong. Here we have, the epitome of, economic advancement and sense gratification, the American dream, and everyone's unhappy. The social fabric is so corrupted. It's so rotten to the core. The whole social, people suffer psychologically, so much mental health problems. Why? Bhagavad Gita says, Dhyato vishayopam sam sangateshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kama kama krudo vijayate krudo bhavati samoha samoha smriti vibhamat smriti brahmat buddhi nasho pranash. They're just spiraling down, following the mind, down and down into the mode of ignorance. And the mode of ignorance is symptomized by anger, laziness, frustration, violence, and madness. Prabhupada was in San Francisco, and all these hippies were coming to see him, and they were, totally crazy, influenced by the intoxication. And he, under his breath, he said, "This is madness." Just craziness. Pure crazy. But Prabhupada lifted us. The power of the holy name, the power of the great acharyas, they lift us out of this cesspool of ignorance and brought us to Krishna. So we're very, very grateful, and we have to show our gratitude by giving it to others. Becoming Krishna conscious, be Krishna conscious yourself, be strict in following the regulations, in practicing the 64 rules and regulations given by Rupa Goswami and so on, following the Nectar of Instruction, Nectar of Devotion. These books are manuals for practicing bhakti yoga, and then give it to others. The secret is to become Krishna conscious and also to give it to others. One devotee, I think Lord Chaitanya, glorified Haridas Thakur. He says, some devotees are exemplary, but they don't preach. Some devotees are not so exemplary, but they preach. But you, Haridas Thakur, are both exemplary and a great preacher, going door to door in Navadvip, knocking on doors, risking your life to spread the Sankirtan movement. And Jagan Mada is chasing Nityananda and Haridas Thakur through the streets of Navadvip, trying to kill them. They were murderers. Yeah, you think, oh, Mayapur, whoa, so nice. Yeah, they were murderers. They were rapists and murderers. So that's all the time we have. I'm over by 2 minutes. Thank you very much for your association. And we pray for your blessings. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.